So if I was just to hit Leon with a frame 3, boom, it will look like that. Essentially a crashing diagonal downward elbow. When on the frame 1, we did an ascending diagonal on the lead side as we crashing diagonal on the rear side. Of course, I could throw frame 3 from a lead side or rear side. They're just elbows, but done a little differently. So, I'm gonna go back to Cole, and what Leon's gonna do is defend, then open up into a frame 3 elbow. Does that make sense? Okay. Boom, boom, and just roll over, bam, exactly. Boom, good. Very nice, yeah. Good. Now, another point of our frame 1, our frames, let's say when Cole's throwing that punch, boom, I get a reaction, right? Now, bam, I have that space. Sorry, I didn't have elbow pads on. But because I had awareness, because my frames can be very like, almost like, not prickly, but like almost like horns, like you're getting rammed with like horns, that you hadn't have this reaction. You bounce off the opponent's structure, which gives me this space. Boom, bam. Now I've got something else to follow up behind with or enter in for a crash. So going back to that, try to feel like when he's throwing his left punch, you have a little bit of like, you're so confident that you can kind of boom into that shoulder and then crash over the top of your right. Does that make sense? Yep. Try it. Boom, boom, boom. Not, think of more like you're throwing a left forearm elbow to his chest using body mechanics, not pushing it, okay? Boom, better, bam, little space, yep. Boom. Well, you also might feel, this is a footwork, right? Let's say I can't get close enough on that one. Maybe I go frame 1, boom, I stepped in a little bit to my left to defend that punch. Frame 2, bam, I go into southpaw. Now I got a big reaction. Now I'm going back to orthodox with my frame 3 attack, okay? Try one more time. A little better. Try to take your right foot. No, I never know when the jab cross. I never hit like kind of step foot with that right foot across. It's the same thing. Boom, boom. You know, like only fall into it with your right foot, toe point to the outside, and then you'll crash back in with that right. Boom, boom, yeah. Bam, now you're catching a feeling again. Boom, boom, okay, good. One more time. Boom, all right, so another thing that can happen, we'll get into the rest of the frame scale in a second, but what happens a lot in frames is that we've earned this inside space, especially since our opponents are kind of swarming or throwing multiple punches that if we crash in, we have an opportunity to set up a clinch. And me being grappling oriented, where I love tossing people on their ass and put them on the ground and smashing them, that's great for me. In fact, when I first started studying Casey in Defense Lab, that was my main objective. I come from a kickboxing background and a boxing background and Kyokushin, as well as hardcore Japanese Jiu-Jitsu and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and wrestling. But I had nothing to glue them together. Right? Of course, boxing provides some slipping, some parrying, some movements, but they really don't talk about crashing a distance. And for a no-rules fight or MMA fight, that's a big deal. If I want to get a hold of someone, I can't just rush in and grab them. This entries, this defense, this chaos zone is what's important. So when I first saw frames, I'm like, oh, that's a good solution. That makes sense to me. I gotta learn that, I gotta play with that. And it started becoming a big part of our game here. Now, I wanna throw this out there. Someone who's not part of, let's say, the frame concepts, but has some very good insights that are very similar to this, is a guy named Rodney King. Yes, Dr. Rodney King, but he has a system called Crazy Monkey Defense. He's from the Straight Blast Gym years ago. Very good boxer, very good instructor, BJJ black belt, and among other things. Very, very intelligent guy, and has a system called Crazy Monkey Defense, which follows along same these principles. It's more of a split frame concept, but has a lot of that same crashing and clinching application. So if you guys are interested in this overall concept of frames, study Defense Lab, study Casey Fighting Method, and there's others out there, some Jeet Kune Do, you'll see it. And then I take a look at Crazy Monkey, because there's some interesting concepts there. Okay, so, Casey, fuck it, you're right. So let's say now Cole's gonna do that same thing, it's gonna be a little slower than me. So I had the frame 1, boom, I come frame 2, boom. All right, now you see my left elbow, all I'm gonna do now, actually let's spin you right here so they can see a little bit better reference, all right? My left elbow's in his front of his face, oop, I'm here, and my right elbow's underneath, all right? I took a step forward, my right. All I'm gonna do now is disconnect, so my left hand becomes a direct hammer. And then I'm gonna move with my direct hammer, boom. My right arm starts traveling under, and starts getting in clinch. Now I'm in a beautiful position where I have a nice strong underhook. I got my forearm jammed in his neck, reading away, and he already knows I'm gonna knee him. He's already put his hand down there for defend. And I've got my legs and weight. Now, you're gonna wanna just do this. No, 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 no. I really have no loading here, and I do not wanna do this. I don't wanna bring my legs across my body. I have to add a little switch step of movement. Whoop, 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 bam. So I would hop in place and bring my right foot next to his foot and throw my knee. We could also start walking in, boom, boom. All right, so, and of course we got plenty of takedowns from here, but we're getting into a strong clinch position with essentially another frame. My forearm acts as a jam against his neck, and then my other arm actually overhook, flaring my elbow, cupping his shoulder, okay? This concept is not new, okay? It's part of our fence position. It's actually, we'll talk about a frame structure in the beginning. You'll also look at a guy named Tony Blauer, who has a spear system. Very intelligent, combatives guy as well. Made a whole system basically off of just doing this, but it's very smart, especially for police officers and military who are kind of dealing with things and need to get to tools. So you'll see a lot of these basic concepts all over the martial arts world. Well, I think TRITAC and what we've done very well, we've done a good job systemizing it and plugging it into different areas. So haymaker again, boom, boom, disconnect, and switch step knee, bam. I know you're being nice to Cole, but you don't need to hit him, so I'm gonna disconnect, just like, you know, you're moving, that's what that, so you went left, right. You know what I mean? To come back left again with that hard forearm to his neck. Boom, boom, boom. A little rushed, okay? Slow it down, you know the rules. Yes, boom, good. Little switch step, okay. Yeah, don't really back step on that, because if the back step, you would need the other side, other hook, but this is not strong enough for the back step. So yeah, maybe, but not really. You can feel it's weak. You're just better off, boom, and using that almost to keep him away. It's not gonna be a pulling action. Again. Not bad, boom. And guys, just so you know, when we are in a frame and we are transitioning from an underhook to an overhook, I typically say it's our elbow that dictates where I'm gonna go. If my elbow travels underneath Leon and me unwinding, it's gonna lead me to an underhook, right? If for some reason my elbow traveled over and I unwind, well, my arm's gonna lead me to an overhook. Don't stress about which overhook or underhook you end in. They both have tons of options. You just need to know the options of what's available from each position. All right, let's look at some offense now. And we're gonna stick with frame 1 and 2 right now, maybe throw a 3 in there. And then when I go through frame scale, I'll start adding in 4, 5, and 6. So, offense, we're now gonna be using a punch or something else to set up a frame. If I wanted, so let's reiterate that. If I'm on offense, it means I'm purposely looking to use a frame to smash and crash. All right, that's a goal, to use that blunt force tool to get inside his range so I can get a hold of him, or use close range strikes like elbows, headbutts, knees, etc., hammers, etc. So would like you to work both off your jab and your jab cross to find your frame. We'll start off with frame one. So let's back up a little. Right there, perfect. I throw a jab, boom, and I like to fold into frame two off my jab. So I just now think about throwing a right elbow, boom, and bringing mine into my frame one. Now when we build this up, we start building into clinches. Boom, boom, bang, all right? And off your frames, they should naturally flow what's available, okay? So if you look at it again, let's turn it right here. I do that jab. Now I'm entering into frame one, so I'm pushing off my rear foot, hitting that frame, okay? And I think about when I'm using a frame, it's the elbow that's leading the way. So I'm essentially throwing a jab, rear horizontal elbow, but I'm just making sure I get my hands up in place because I am entering into a chaos zone. I don't want to get knocked out that big right hand. So I enter in, boom, cover, boom. Now my left hand, the top hand, just flows. In fact, we used to do drills like this. We smash, bam, 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 and fold over the top, start walking in for our tie clinch knees. So when we're in these frames, kind of the head clinches, the underhooks and overhooks start opening up right off the bat. And if I was gonna use a jab cross, boom, boom, I'm using that momentum to carry me forward. Now, footwork is going to be independent based upon the person and the situation you're in. I do like a lot of walk through footwork when I'm closing distance. It's long range or long to medium range. If I want to throw in elbows, I gotta get a lot closer. And sometimes my traditional step and drag footwork is not going to work. So boom, boom, I learn to fall into it. Boom, I keep moving, boom, connect, and look for a head. So I would suggest, the frame one and frame two are, to me, to a certain degree, interchangeable. Of course, I can throw jab, frame one, boom. Jab cross, frame two, boom. Jab, lead side, frame three, jab, rear side, frame three, etc. We can get very creative. Well, since we are talking about offense, there are two sides to every frame. The lead attacking side and then the rear defense side. We call it the rear direct, or the other one's either horizontal, diagonal, or descending diagonal. What I mean by that is, let's say I'm in frame one, okay? Well, my lead elbow is that lead diagonal, right? My rear elbow is a rear direct. So if you think about lead, most on that left hook, jab feel, and then my rear, I'm throwing the cross, but boom, boom, boom. That's a feel. You have two sides to every frame. The lead hand, it doesn't matter which foot you are, but the one that's in front is your lead hand. And that is like that attacking elbow, and the rear side is always that direct elbow. So you think about that, you can get very creative. Let's say I want to throw a jab, and I want to do rear direct, frame one, boom. Well, I'm in frame one, but I just did rear direct, okay? I want jab, lead, jab, rear, okay? So we can get very creative on where I want. If I want to mix my exits to the right, boom, whatever, smash them and go. Or I want to get a clinch, boom, on my left. We start playing around with what those flow into. So if you're doing these drills, yes, you can do it off of hooks as well, but I would strongly suggest you get your two straight punches going, and you look to flow in your frame one, two, or three into those. I think those are going to work really well for you.